Hi, it's John Robinson with another tale from Records and Reels. This time around, it's the death of Rolling Stones founder Brian Jones. Before the Rolling Stones became one of the biggest rock and roll bands in the world, there was Brian Jones. Brian Jones was the one who helped form the band. He was the blues purist, the slide guitarist, the organizer, and the man who gave the Rolling Stones their name. He was born in 1942 in Cheltenham, England, and was bright, musically gifted, and restless. He did well in school, but school never really suited him. By the age of 17, he left home, traveled through Europe, and played guitar to make money. Eventually, he returned to England and made his way to London, where the early 1960s rhythm and blues scene was beginning to catch fire. Brian loved the blues. In his early performing days, he even used the stage name Elmo Lewis, which was a nod to the blues players who inspired him. Then came the band. He placed an advertisement looking for musicians. Soon, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were in the band, followed by Bill Wyman and Charlie Watts. In those days, Brian was not just another member. He was the architect. He was the leader. He was the guy who put it all together. The story goes that while speaking with a venue, Brian was asked the name of the group. He didn't have a name for the group yet. Looking down, he saw a Muddy Waters record with a track called Rollin' Stone, so he said, we're the Rolling Stones. Not long afterward, he added a G to the word Rollin', and it became the Rolling Stones. Now, before we go any deeper, if you enjoy these shorter dives into the people, records, mysteries, and moments that help shape music history, please subscribe to Nite Muse Media. It helps us keep these stories alive. One record, one reel, one signal at a time. Now, Brian's vision for the band was blues-based. He wanted the Stones to be gritty, serious, and rooted in the music that he loved. But the 60s were changing. The Beatles had shown the world that bands could write their own songs, and soon Mick Jagger and Keith Richards began building their own songwriting partnership. As Jagger and Richards became the creative center of the Rolling Stones, Brian's role just kind of got pushed into the background. And that hit hard, man. Brian formed the band. He chose the sound. He chose the name. He helped put the band members together. But now the group was moving in a direction he did not fully control. At the same time, his personal life was unraveling. Alcohol and drug use increased. His reliability declined. Legal trouble followed. Then in 1967, while Brian was hospitalized, his girlfriend, Anita Pallenberg, became involved with his bandmate, Keith Richards. And for Brian, it deepened the distance between him and the band he created. By 1969, the situation had become impossible. Brian's drug convictions complicated travel, especially to the United States. His contributions to the group had faded, and in June of that year, he was dismissed, fired from the Rolling Stones, and replaced by guitarist Mick Taylor. Publicly, Brian released a statement saying he no longer saw eye to eye with the other band members over the records they were making. But behind that wording was a painful truth. The Rolling Stones were moving on without their founder. And then just weeks later, in the early morning hours of July 3rd, 1969, Brian Jones was found unresponsive at the bottom of his swimming pool at his farm in East Sussex. He was only 27 years old. The official ruling was death by misadventure. The coroner noted that Brian's heart and liver were enlarged, consistent with years of alcohol and drug use. But the story never completely settled. Over the years, questions have remained. Some family members, writers, fans have all wondered whether the full truth of that night was ever known. The official ruling still stands, but like so many deaths from the era, Brian Jones' passing remains surrounded by shadows. He didn't live long enough to see the full legend of the Rolling Stones unfold. And after his death, the Stones became bigger. Bassist Bill Wyman later said, "What should never be forgotten. Brian formed the band. Brian chose the members. Brian named the band. Brian chose the music they played, and Brian got them the gigs." Brian was brilliant, difficult, gifted, troubled, and essential. He was the first Rolling Stone to fall, but before that, he was the man who set the whole thing in motion. I'm John Robinson, and this has been Records and Reels. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to Nite Muse Media for more music history, forgotten chapters, and stories from the deeper grooves. Until then, follow the signals and question the noise, and I'll see you on the nice side.